It's Friday Coffee with your mortgage man, Eric. And today, we're going to talk about the market conditions here in Arizona, specifically probably the Phoenix metropolitan area, and how does that affect you. I'm going to give you some tips, some pointers, some advice on how to navigate the situation that's currently ongoing right now, right here, in this market. Unlike anything we've ever seen in the industry for 21 years, I've never seen anything like this, and that is in comparison to the subprime era where you fog the mirror and you got a loan, right? And way worse, or more aggressive maybe is the better term to use in comparison to the subprime era. I mean, in today's world, you do have to get qualified for a loan. You do have to show income, right? It's much more strict to get a loan. But what is happening? What's going on here? I think everybody already knows that, right? People are moving here in droves. The majority of them are coming from California for a number of different reasons. And most of them are coming from LA County. I mean, the data is telling us that. So the demand is skyrocketed and the supply is extremely low. We're at an all-time low on the supply. I think like 2 weeks is what I'm hearing as far as the supply of real estate. In other words, if no other property came on the market to sell in the next 2 weeks, there would be 0 properties left. 2 weeks supply, that's dangerously low. What has that done? It has created this. What is going on? Which is a home goes on the market this morning, let's say, Friday morning, post, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning on the MLS. By lunchtime, there will be 20 offers on the property. There'll be a line wrapped out down, maybe down around the driveway for showings all day long. That's normal. And it's almost irrelevant as far as what kind of market it is. East Valley, West Valley, 300 range, 400 range, 500 range. That is almost an irrelevant topic. But the meat, the sweet spot, the 350 range, which is where everybody's trying to get into because, that's where income will allow, right? Good night. I mean, everybody and their grandmother, as they say, is trying to get into that $350,000 home. So what's happening, right? When I pre-approve people, I unfortunately have to have this reality talk. Is you got your down payment? Got your closing costs? Do you have your overbid? What's my overbid? I'm telling you, people are overbidding ridiculous amounts of money. Not $2,000, not $7,000. They're overbidding $10,000 and $20,000 and $30,000 and $40,000, overbidding the home. Now look, we know that this cannot sustain for a long period of time. But that's the $1 million question. How long will this happen? How long will this go on? How long will this carry on? A month? 3 weeks? Another 3 months? 9 months? Who knows? Obviously, it can't sustain itself forever. We know that. But the reality of it, what it has caused is a plethora of home buyers that have been pre-approved that just can't navigate the third option, the large overbid. Now, are some home buyers maybe still getting in the homes with only overbidding 3, 4, 5,000? Sure, but look, they're still overbidding. And they still have a strong offer, conventional loan, full asking price or a little bit over, not asking for concessions, no down payment assistance program or loans. So it is a tumultuous market, to say the least. How can you navigate this? Well, the first thing I tell people, hang on. If you don't want to play in this market right now, that's fine. I understand it. I completely understand it. Hang on. How long do I hang on? I don't know the answer to that question. In my opinion, a month to 6 months. It can't last forever. People cannot continuously keep overbidding $40,000 on a home, right? And that sustain itself for years and years. It cannot happen. We know that. So hang on. If you need to rent another year, then rent another year, unfortunately, or 6 months, or whatever the case is. But hang on. Don't give up. Normal market conditions, if you want to call it normal. It was never normal here in Phoenix, but normal for Phoenix will come back at some point where you can use your down payment assistance, you can use an FHA, you can use a VA loan, and you don't have to overbid, type of thing. That will come back. How can you navigate it though right now in this market and moving forward? Your offer, here's a big tip. Your offer is extremely important on that pre-qual form, right? That pre-qual form becomes part of the purchase contract. Most buyers don't understand that, and none of the buyers coming from out of state understand that. The pre-qual form that us lenders are filling out becomes part of the purchase contract. It's an extremely important document. So it's not just, hey, I got a 780 credit score and I'm putting 20% down and I make all this money and blah, blah, blah. That has very little to do about it anymore. Who is representing you? Which banking institution or lending institution is representing you also becomes a very important piece of your pie as far as getting an offer accepted. Remember, there's multiple offers going on the property that you want. That $365,000 property in Gilbert or the $325,000 property in Glendale, there are 10, 15, 12, 17 offers on that property within hours. So please understand that. If you're being represented by a credit union or a large bank, an FDIC lender, you're not going to come to the top, right? You're not going to be the first pick. Why is that? Because real estate agents understand the difficulty that comes with those types of institutions. You got those guys cannot perform in 23 days, right? It's very difficult to communicate with them. They don't want to provide an LSU, a loan status update, which also becomes part of the purchase contract that your lender has to provide to you within 5 days of contract acceptance. And most of those institutions, such as like US Bank, are forbidden to give those documents, those forms. So it presents a whole different situation, right? You're now out of compliance. You don't have that form in your file, and your broker won't pay you until you do get the form in the file, right? It becomes a nightmare for agents to deal with lending institutions such as that they cannot get the ball across the goal line before halftime. It can't happen. So that is a huge component into who's representing you, right, for your pre-qualification form. Keep that in mind. Who can best represent you in this local market is a local direct lender. Why? Because they can move the quickest. We can move in 2 and 3 weeks. They are our own underwriters. It's our own staff. It's our own closing department. We close, we fund, everything is done locally and is done by our own employees. That is who you should have representing you if you want to sweeten the pie as for your offer. So keep that in mind. There's some tips, some tricks that can help you in this melee, this circus, this frenzy of real estate that's going on right now. Now, I want you to think about this. 30 days ago, this wasn't the case. There wasn't an overbidding of 20 and 30 and 40,000 30, 45 days ago, right? We go back into, even Christmas. That wasn't happening at Christmas. This was not happening at Christmas time. It's happening now. I've never seen anything like this, and everybody that's in real estate will tell you the same thing. It's crazy. Here's another ticket another item you can do to kind of, as a tip or, to protect yourself when placing the offer, or if you want the property, is an escalation clause. An escalation clause is just something most real estate agents, I don't know, maybe 50-50 know about it, 50-50 don't know about it. Some of those that do know about it, their brokers don't advise putting it in there, so you have that depending on who you work for. But if you're a buyer and you want to place this in your purchase contract, you should have the ability to do so. What an escalation clause says is very simple. It sounds fancy, but it's not. It just says, look, I am willing to pay $1,000 higher than the next highest offer that you have, but not to exceed, you can put whatever amount, right? Whatever amount that you want to put in there. And that's kind of can guarantee you that you're going to get the offer. The problem with that is you better be ready to ante up the monies, right? You better be ready to come up with whatever that is, $20,000, $30,000 over what it's going to appraise for. So that means you need your down payment, you need your closing costs, and you need the overbid, the overbidding money, if you're willing to play that game. You also have what is referred to as an appraisal waiver contingency. So you can waive your appraisal contingency, which just basically says, look, most of them are going to ask you to, or most of these buyer's agents are going to tell you that, look, if you want to even be thought about having a chance at winning this offer, your agents are going to tell you, look, you're going to have to waive the appraisal contingency, which just basically means if the appraisal comes in low, which it will, because you're overbidding, that you're not going to renege to get out of the transaction. So what people are doing is they're putting an appraisal waiver contingency up to a certain amount. So let's say the property is listed for $350, and you'll say, look, I'll waive my appraisal contingency up to $375. What that means is that you will only pay over $25,000 from the sales price. Okay, so that's something that can protect you as well. There's some tips, there's some tricks in there. Otherwise, hold on and let's get through this together. I don't know how long it's going to last. Hopefully not long. I've got a plethora of pre-approved buyers that just want to make regular offers, like it was in a normal market like 45 days ago type of thing. Anyhow, it's Friday Coffee with your mortgage man, Eric, baby. Woo!